great to see you. Good morning, beautiful divinity. It is wonderful to see you. And can I call you a genius today too? You're much bigger than you imagine. You're much bigger than you know. You're a genius. If I say it quietly, will you buy it? I hope so. You're a genius. Let's just say it loud. Today, it is windy outside. It's fabulously beautiful on the top of the hill. The sun's coming through the clouds, and you know, you get the rays, and it's beautiful. Morning, Kaya! So it's lovely to see that. But it also means it's windy because, you know, I took 2 photographs. You can see that the clouds are moving. It's not horribly windy, but it's too windy to be outside. So, of course, the good thing about that is it means rocks. So here we are. This is like a hedgehog to me. It's very prickly, right? But it's beautiful. These little pieces of quartz. Julian, good morning. And quite often you find quartz with pyrite. Khan, good morning. It is beautiful to see you. So we have quartz with pyrite this morning. Sharon, good morning. So, and I don't even know what this is that it's sitting on actually. That's some other form of iron. You know, this is a form of iron, right? Iron pyrite. This too is something metallic, but I don't know what it is. But it's it's such a sweet little interesting piece. It's not perfect. Look at the sparkliness on the back of that one. On this piece though, that's more pyrite there. It's just, you know, it's wonderful to turn it around and see all the different parts, and it's rather like us in that, you know, there are many facets, many faces, many strange bits, things that don't seem to make sense, and yet they all do, and bits fall off. Something just did, which of course is what we're talking about today. I used to be a musician, Kaya. Maybe you're picking that up, but really it's because I'm in tune with myself, I think. So yeah, I used to be a violinist, and I've said there's a whole nother lifetime now. It's not even me anymore. Marianne, good morning. It's great to see you. So yeah, there's a rhythm and everything. But you know, we all have a rhythm, we all have a melody, we all have a tone, we all have a pitch, we all have a colour. Charlotte, good morning. Great to see you. There's some company on my cushion. Normally I would catch that and take it outside, but it can just go and be on the floor and not distract me here. It's a little insect. Why would I kill it? It just makes a mess. It's just in the wrong place. So I'm putting it outside later, if I can find it. So this is a piece of New Zealand. And yeah, that looks a bit like a heart, right? It's actually sort of a piece of granite, sort of, or something, pegmatite actually. Granite has small crystals, pegmatite has larger ones, and here you can see. I don't think I picked this up because this is like a heart, but it's got that sort of pink, and then it's surrounded by something else, and on this side, you can't really see, it's sort of been tumble polished by the sea. We got this from a beach in the far north of the South Island. Morning, Emily, lovely to see you. And it just said, I want to be on camera today. So it's a piece of New Zealand, and it does have a heart in it. Maybe that's why I picked it up, I don't know. But it's got a lovely smooth feeling because it's been kind of polished by the sea and by, you know, wind and erosion and sand and everything else. It's very pretty. Another something from the New Zealand beach. This was given to me by a friend, and it is a seal tooth. Hang on, let me make it so you can really see it. So, you know, sharp thing would make a mess in you if it caught you. That is a seal tooth. And this one came from Wellington's south coast. A friend of mine who still drives a Seal Coast Safari. And if you're in Wellington, there's a thing called the Seal Coast Safari. And you get in a 4x4 and you go drive along the beach and you see seals. Because there's a colony out there and there's landscapes and you go over the hills and amazing views. It's just lovely. Judith, good morning. So this is something he gave me many years ago now. And I'm rather fond of it. This, our last little treasure today, I've just realised, is a piece of fluorite. Tumbled fluorite. It's very cute. Today makes me think of a jelly bean. And it's mostly just, you know, shiny and green. Morning, Steph. Great to see you. And it's got these little fractures through it, as fluorite often does. And it's just very shiny. And kind of joyful, actually. So those are our rocks today. I have spent far too long rocking. It's been 5 minutes. Get on with it, Maddie. So I want to talk about when your house of cards collapses today, because we've kind of been talking about change and resistance, and when the shitstorm flies up, you think you're doing well and then everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And this can happen whether you're in a physical recovery process or you're changing yourself to being somebody else, which by the way is the same thing. The sickness is in oneself, the health is in another. There's a journey from one to the next. The poverty is with oneself, the wealth is with another self. We have to go from one to the other. That's the journey we're on. And I talked about this yesterday. You're doing your journey, right? You are, as Dr. Joe Dispenza would say, you're crossing the river of change. April, beautiful to see you. You're crossing the river of change. You're going from habitually reacting and not even thinking. You're being unconscious about who you are and how your world is and what's possible and all that stuff. And you're going to be a conscious person, choosing who you're going to be, how you're going to show up, and how you're going to feel, because that informs your body. And more than that, it broadcasts a signal to the universe. It's so powerful, and says, give me more of this, universe, endorse who I'm being, bring me more of this, and do it in a way that's going to surprise me, so I'll be absolutely sure it's from you. That's what we're doing, whether we know it or not. And then, so you're going along and you're becoming more familiar with the new self, and you think, this is good. I'm feeling good about this. I'm enjoying this. And then suddenly it all goes to crap. And you think, what? Did I not succeed? Did I make no change? Did I, that's the normal response. Oh, obviously I didn't change myself. Obviously I'm failing. Obviously it's all going wrong. And he stirs me and says, well, no, it's not. Hold on to the tiller of your ship. Keep steering the same course through the storm. Realise that it's okay if you feel like absolute crap some days. Keep your eye on where you're going. Don't think that you're off course. You're just going through a storm. It happens. Don't sweat, right? Because, you can look at that and think, oh, well, obviously I'm still on the coast of Africa, but actually you're halfway between Africa and, I don't know, the Middle East, and it's just a storm at sea. You're in progress. And sometimes everything just falls apart. And it's like, oh, why is everything falling apart? Tracy! Yay! I feel like Kermit the Frog when I do that. You can see me green with a big smile. And, the little wiggly fingers. Linda, good morning. So, what is it when everything has fallen to pieces? Had it occurred to you that it means it's the old self? The old self, the old life. We're sort of familiar with the idea that when you become a different person, for example, your friends can go away. Absolutely let your truth lead you through the storm. Yeah, really, we're talking about that. It's quite common, people sort of say, oh, well, I sort of woke up, I had an awakening experience, I became aware that there's more than what we can see, taste, touch and feel and all of that. And all my friends went away, I stopped liking those people, I stopped wanting to hang out with them, we're kind of familiar with that process. Sometimes in the process of becoming a completely new person, it goes deeper than that. Corwant, it's gorgeous to see you. Sometimes it's literally like your life falls apart. And I'm going to tell a Dr. Joe story now because it illustrates it so beautifully. There's a guy who started doing his work and he was just creating himself and moving into something fabulous. And he was the vice president at a university and everybody loved him. The faculty loved him, the students loved him, everybody thought he was fabulous. And a couple of weeks after he'd started doing this work, not very long, okay, he was obviously pretty lined up to start with, he walked into a meeting with the board and they fired him. It's like, out of the blue. Karen, it's lovely to see you, honey. What the hell? And this guy rings up Joe and says, what's going on? I just got fired. And Joe says, oh, look, don't panic. Just, let that go and just keep being busy, creating who you want to be and know that you're making space for something good. Don't sweat. I can't remember his words exactly. Nikki, good morning. And the old is sticky because we're attached to it, man. We're familiar with it. We know it. We feel safe to us. So he wanted to go back to his familiar job as the vice president of the university, right? But he carried on creating himself. And he let go, right? Let go. And he kept focusing on who he was going to be. And before too long, I can't remember exactly what happened, how the order was, but he met a woman that he later fell in love with him and married. And he got another job really quickly, actually, at another university, a better university. And he was president there. And it was groovy, life reorganised. And a year later, the other place that fired him said, "Oh, we want you back." It's like, we realised what a dumb thing we did when we fired you. I don't know whether he went back or not, but that's not the point. You have to let go of the old to make room for the new. And sometimes that letting go is enormous. And it's scary. It's like jumping off a cliff. Although, it's more like being pushed off the cliff sometimes, because life just says, that's it, you're done. You are done with this old self. You've been saying you want the new self, and all of these things that you think are still compatible with who you want to be, actually they're not, but you don't even realise they're not compatible with who you want to be. And I've heard so many stories. Now, I haven't lived this myself, so I'm not going to pretend that. Not at least in 3D. Tell me, I'm a completely new person now. So many stories, because I watched Joe Dispenza's testimonial reel, and it reminds me of what's possible, right? And these are ordinary people who've just got in and created something different. And the number of stories that there are of people whose life completely fell apart. I mean, they lost their relationship, they got really sick, they lost everything. They lost all their money, their business, their house, their dogs, their works. And they didn't let it stop them from choosing who they were going to be. Now, they had very strong minds. Some of them didn't start off having a strong mind. They developed a strong mind. And they said, screw it. I've been pushed off a cliff. Okay, where do I want to go? I better grow wings. And they got on and did it. And they got everything back, and it was way better. And when people are standing on the stage of one of Joe's events and telling their story, sometimes he says, and this is a teaching point, and he explains the thing. And sometimes it's just a comment, and one of the comments that he's made about on one of these occasions is, well, those were all the things you actually had to lose so that you could have the life that you have now. And the person goes, yeah, it was actually. Isn't that true? That's exactly how it was. So we hold on for dear life to who we think we are and what we think we need to be happy and how we think our lives should be. And when the bottom falls out of everything, our natural, normal response is to say, oh my God, this is a disaster. I have lost so much. And we grieve and we mourn, and that's all perfectly normal. Yeah, and Linda, you're a living example of this truth. You lost the lot. You left it all behind. And you have walked into an entirely different life. And you would look back at Linda a year ago and say, oh my God, who are you? I sort of remember you, but you're not me. I was joking with my husband just yesterday because he was saying to me, because he's doing this work with me too, hi Carol, we're doing it with each other. And, we're on the path together, which is awesome. Jump, absolutely. But you kind of knew in your heart where you were going. And he said, we were talking about something, and it was like, he was referring to me, oh yeah, last week was 6 years ago. I said, yeah, I can't remember last week. I was somebody else. I'm changing so fast now. I am not sorry about it. I do not miss my old self. My old self was so limited by who I was. For me, the most limiting aspects of me have been these deeply held beliefs and expectations and experiences and ultimately perceptions of a universe where there is not enough. And, I wasn't intellectually aware of these things. It's taken time for these things to surface, Sometimes you get pushed off the cliff, and yeah, you don't even look the same, Linda. Yeah. It went from 0 friends to 6, exactly. You got pushed out of your old life by you, the universe, having a desire for something better. And you, the universe, the divine observer, saying, okay, we gotta push, because we naturally hang on to the house of cards. And I have held on to my lack without knowing it, without realizing it. And sooner or later, something in our environment changes, or something inside us starts to hurt and say, there has to be more, it has to be better than this, whatever. And that force, that push from inside or outside us is powerful enough that it hurts a bit or it hurts a lot. And that disruption in our state of being actually allows us to stand back and look at ourselves. Because you're forced out of your normal shape, right? You're forced out of what's normal to you, what's okay for you, how you think your life is. Suddenly it's not like that. It is really wild. It's like, really? This is how it works? We create this. Make no mistake, it does not happen to you. And if some random event like an accident or a piano falls on your head, whatever, yeah, we don't intentionally create those things, but if we just keep marching through life without creating, stuff's going to happen by default. It is going to bump into you. In Joe's words again. It is going to bump into you. You either create intentionally or it just happens by default. George, good morning. So, when the house of cards collapses, yeah, scream, yeah, feel afraid, yeah, grieve, have the reaction, have the response, it's going to happen. But understand that you are between continents, you are in the middle of the river, you are from between the top of the cliff and the bottom of the cliff, and the law of, terminal velocity and acceleration, and you're going to hit the rocks and die, does not apply. You can stop time and create yourself with wings, or abundant, or whole, or in love, or whatever it is you want. And to realize that all of that stuff which ultimately I have created in my world, all of the challenges, all of the whatever, is me saying, Maddie, this is you. This is the 360-degree excrescence of who you really are. And if you don't want to keep on being that person, go be somebody else, and we'll endorse that. Oh, wow. You see, you have an entirely different body as well. It's hilarious, Linda. Talk about a new life. It's only taken a year. And I know, it wasn't just only taken a year. It's been a whole journey. Sometimes the change can happen really quickly. One of the beautiful people that is with me in the Heartfield for Abundant Manifestation had, in short, an experience that completely rewired the inside of her head, as she said, makes my head explode, in a matter of moments. Now, the journey to that matter of moments thing that transformed everything, that's taken some time. But sometimes you get to one of those things where the house of cards collapses and immediately the palace is there. Yeah, more of me, absolutely. Because we desire it. Our hearts just say, I gotta have more. And whatever that more is for you, the way we gotta and get and have more is in spite of everything that we have already created. Good morning, Eric! Yay! In spite of everything that we have created, and don't put it, you can if you wish. Me, don't you put it out there and say this is happening to you, Maddie. It's not happening to you. I create my life. The end. Why would I say that it's happening to me? Then I'm a victim. Then I can't uncreate it. Then I can't create something new. So, the house of cards has collapsed. Okay, it needed to go. Let me build myself anew. That's the choice we all got to make. And you make it every day, by the way. Sometimes the house of cards really collapses, like, boom! There's only dust and ashes in my life. Okay, who do I want to be now? More often, it's these little deaths and these little births. It's like birthing pangs, Oh, I should let go of that part of me. I'm so used to thinking this way. I'm so used to perceiving the world through this lens of my past experiences. Yes, it's always going to be like that. No, it's not. Because if it was always going to be like that, it would always going to be like that for everybody. Everybody's not like you. Everybody's not like me. We create our lives, each of us, individually, so powerfully. And we just forget exactly how powerful we are as creators. Yeah. just, wow, I see it. I see it, and it's in myself. This is my own process right now. I haven't needed to manifest a massive drama in my life because I hear the cues and I pick up the signals and I respond to them a lot more easily these days. But this is what happens. The old self has to die to make space for the new. So if you're in the middle of a storm, put your energy on steering the ship. Don't get distracted by the lightning and the thunder and the big waves, and if the ship's keeling over, it doesn't matter. Just keep steering and choosing and remembering who that you is. And sometimes all you can do is see like a little slide through, through a little telescope. Oh yeah, that's where I'm going. And sometimes you really, really remember. It doesn't matter. Keep your eye and your heart and your soul on the goal. And that's how we do it. All right, beautiful being. It's Friday. The week has just gone. Time's an illusion. I'm really more aware of that these days. It's a different flow for me now. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with you, Steph. Gee, I'm sure I'll be responding to this on Monday. I look forward to this. Can't see it all right now, and I know I got to close. It is Friday, and here's a little house of cards that's collapsing. This Maddie Schaefer profile is never going to be big enough for what I'm doing, so I'm turning it to a page, and I'm keeping on telling you so that you know, because it takes a while for everybody who needs to know to see this. So I'm going to turn this profile into a page, and nothing should change for you. I'll just be going live on a page instead of live on Maddie Schaefer. And the pictures and the words and everything will stay the same, and the lives will stay the same. But I've got to make space for growth because of the page. You can have as many people liking it as you like. And you can still message me because there's a messaging function on the page. So it's all going to work out perfectly. That's my little house of cards that I am sweeping away to make room for a palace. So, thank you so much for joining me. It is always a privilege. I am so grateful that you share yourself with me. I will see you on Monday. Look out for the resonant replays. And create yourself because you can. Big love.